I'm gonna live like my truest self for a week and then tell you if I liked these books. But I do like how this is written. I like how it's organized. I'm already the perfect Aries. I'm so good at this. I don't think the main character is an Aries, but maybe he is, because Aries are supposed to not get along and I hate him. Okay, well, that just disproves the entire video. I'm not gonna say it's not for Aries. I am gonna say it's not for anyone. Somebody commented on a video this morning and was like, that's it, I'll never understand your reading tastes. I was like, me neither. Oh my god. Hi friends, I'm Kayla and I'm an Aries. I wore red today because I'm a fire sign, whatever that means. And this week we're going to embark on a journey where I read books meant for Aries. First, we need to scour the internet for books recommended to Aries. This is my chart. I don't fully understand it. All I really know is I'm an Aries. I used to really not believe in Zodiac stuff, astrology. I don't know enough about it. I'm not here to teach you anything. But then I got married to a Gemini who's a fucking Gemini. And I had a child who is such a Cancer. That sounds mean. He is the physical embodiment of the Cancer sign. So I can't reject it anymore. I used to think like you can find anything that's applicable to you in any sign. That's not true. My sun in Aries determines my ego, identity, and role in life. It's the core of who I am. I'm reading from this CoStar app that I really like. You are fundamentally assertive, persistent, and courageous. I once saw this video where they ranked the zodiac signs and Aries was at the bottom.
They are literal children. Aries are very bad at concealing their feelings.
I rank Aries pretty low.
Stereotypically, an Aries is a leader, competitive, optimistic, achieving, strong, rebellious, impatient, loving, responsible, dominant, dynamic, impulsive, risky. I looked this up once years and years ago, like books that Aries should read, and I only got a bunch of books like literally about zodiac signs, and the only article I found, it was a bunch of like high fantasy stuff, because I guess Aries people think we want like high action. I'm gonna go around the entire internet. We're gonna hit a lot of places and get a whole bunch of book recommendations for Aries. Then I'm gonna read them. I'm gonna live like my truest self for a week and then tell you if I liked these books. And I'm hoping all these books are on Book Outlet because that is where I would like to find everything. So first, we might as well search on Book Outlet. Aries. Okay, these are a bunch of books by people with the last name kind of like Aries. So, oh, self-care for Aries? Oh, that could be so interesting to see like what each sign needs to like chill. Wait, that's amazing. A cosmic coloring book, which is so cool too. I really hope in my self-care book it tells me that coloring is a good thing for self-care, because I want this now. Okay, BuzzFeed has one called the Astrology Quiz. Oh, this is can we guess your star sign based on your taste in books? That's not what I wanted. Let's do it anyway. Pick a classic. Ooh, Lord of the Flies is on here. That's like my all-time favorite classic. Pick a YA novel. Ew, 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 ew. Okay, well that one's easy too. I only have one 5-star on here. That's the hate you give. Pick a series. No, no, maybe. Ooh, Divergent. I loved Divergent, you guys. Lastly, pick a memoir. Yeah, I didn't like a lot of these. I haven't read a lot of these. I liked Brain on Fire and The Glass Castle. I would say Brain on Fire was more interesting to me. Oh my god. How did... Whoa. Oh my god, I'm actually really shook right now. I got Aries. You're courageous and love excitement, which is why you're drawn to dystopian tales and futuristic worlds. Is it? Okay, so I already read like an Aries, apparently. All right, we're gonna hit up Bustle. It says the best book recommendation for you based on your zodiac sign. The Power is a really cool cover. I just hope I get that. Oh, oh my god, it already happened. I always forget, like I'm first on most lists to the Zodiac, which I really like. This is called The Book of Joan by Lydia Yuknevich, which I've never heard of. Book Outlet. You got it? Oh my god, they have it. It's a different cover. In the near future, world wars have transformed the earth into a battleground. Okay, I'm gonna learn more about it later. They just said I like futuristic books, and then this is a futuristic book. Isn't that weird? Books to read based on your zodiac sign from Apartment Therapy. We're scrolling. I'm not first on this list, which is fine. Oh, I own that one. I own that one too. Why didn't I get those ones? Circe. I've heard a lot of people talk about this book, but it's never intrigued me just because I don't really like it's not that I don't like, because I don't think I've read enough to really have an opinion, but I've never really been interested in books about like Greek gods. The thing about reading books for Aries, do they just want me to read books about Aries? Like, just because I'm an Aries, does that mean I want to read about a character who's Aries? That's the real question here. Books you might like based on your zodiac sign. Am I gonna be first? I am. Dustland! Oh my god, I loved the Dustland series by Moira Young. Enjoy anything with quick-paced fight scenes, a lot of adventure, and a badass lead character. They'll also like The Hunger Games, Divergent, and The Search for Wandla. This one is, again, YA book recommendations based on your zodiac sign. The first one is Gone Girl, which isn't YA. Divergent! The dystopian book Divergent will take you on a journey of fighting for good in humanity and the world. People of the Aries sign will easily relate to Triss, the main character. Next one I found is from Riveted Lit. Hey, Starry Eyes. I just read that. And Unexpected Everything. I've read that. This could be a good list. Stay Sweet is on my TBR. Starfish is on my TBR. Oh my god, what's gonna show up for me? Oh. See, that doesn't appeal to me. I told you, they think I want high fantasy. Oh, there's two recommendations. Oh, I didn't even notice. Dry by Neil Shusterman and Jared Shusterman. I have had this recommended to me before. If you're an Aries, you love a challenge. Is that why I love challenge and game type books? Whoa. Do you think Dry is on Book Outlet? Oh my god, it is! When the California drought escalates to catastrophic proportions, one teen is forced to make life and death decisions for her family in this harrowing story of survival. Do I like survival stories because I'm an Aries? Book recommendations based on your zodiac sign. Aries is first. Okay. Dark Matter by Blake Crouch. That's a great recommendation. I loved that book. Which new book you should read based on your zodiac sign? This is from 2018, so it's not going to be as new. Things to Make and Break by May Lan Tan. I've never heard of that. This fast-paced collection of 11 stories is ideal for the multitasking, spontaneous, and let's be honest, sometimes impatient Aries lady. Pick it up, read a story or two, and go about your business. Do I love short story collections because I'm an Aries? I'm so glad you're with me on this journey of discovering that this is my astrological sign is why I love what I love. This is called booksandsiblings.com, and it says read this book next based on your zodiac sign. And I'm supposed to read The Power. Hey, that's the one in the other one that I didn't get. I've heard of this. Naomi Alderman, a book about the patriarchy being suddenly and violently overthrown when girls everywhere develop the power, making them dangerous and physically superior to men. For the passionate, idealistic, courageous, and confident Aries out there. Okay, there's this one that says Zodiac sign book recommendations, Aries. Oh, The Hunger Games, Red Queen, Tom Sawyer, On the Road. I do own On the Road. That's the first book that's shown up that I already have on my TBR shelf, and it'd be kind of nice not to have to buy a million books. So let's just add that. If Dean Moriarty's character in On the Road is any sign, he would definitely be an Aries. Not only is Dean reckless, but he's also self-centered and wildly impulsive. I feel like we have a good selection. As soon as I have time allotted and I can gather all these books, we'll get started. So I'll see you in a second. All right, it's a couple weeks later. I have gathered a bunch of books. I've reviewed the footage. We're obviously in a pandemic right now, so it's hard to obtain all of the books in a timely manner as well. So here is everything that was selected for me. You might recognize a couple extra things added to here. I basically haven't been able to stop scouring the internet about being an Aries this last couple weeks. Then I discovered this Instagram account all about zodiac signs. It's called Sanctuary World. It's Aries season, so they're posting a bunch of really relatable Aries content that I'm really connecting with. And then I scrolled back and found this post specifically about books, a book for each sign, and the Aries one looks small, which is conducive to a challenge, and it's called Roll of Thunder, Hear My Cry, also on Book Outlet. And then I saw that my friend Fatwa from Word Wanders posted an entire blog post with recommendations, and I took it very seriously because I saw Girls of Paper and Fire, which was a 5-star read for me, so I immediately had to add another one from this list to my TBR. It's a book called The Disasters, and Book Outlet also had it. So of all of these books, I've read some, I'm not interested in some, I couldn't get some, and we're left with a wonderful box of goodies. So we've got Roll of Thunder, Hear My Cry. There are a couple different covers to pick. I picked this one and then realized that all the books I picked, or really all the books that were recommended, I feel like, are orange and yellow and red. So we have this, which I know literally nothing about, but we will find out. It's got an award. Then I grabbed the book of Joan, which appeals to me. It also was one of like the 100 notable books of the New York Times in 2017. I've never heard of it. Then we got Dry, which is a thick baby. And I'm really excited to read this. I also had to grab Not Just Self-Care for Aries, which is adorable and I'm so excited about, but I also grabbed a couple other ones for some of my coworkers. We're all working from home. We all need a little bit of self-care right now, so I'm passing Libra, Leo, and Scorpio on to some other people. And then I got my coloring book, which admittedly is smaller than I thought. I thought it was gonna be one of those big ones, like calendar size. I feel like this is actually good for me because more often than not, I don't complete a coloring page. Like I get bored, and maybe that's an Aries thing. It's just too much paper to actually color. So these are cute. There's like just a pattern, which very much appeals to me, and then also some specific Aries pages. If you can get the self-care and the coloring book in your sign, like highly recommend. I haven't even like read these or utilized them yet, but I just think they're so cool. Then I grabbed The Disasters. All I saw was the space helmet, and I was like, obviously I have to have this. So that's my little Book Outlet haul. Shout out to them for real. And this aesthetic is very pleasing. If you check out the link down below, you can see all of these books on my page that I picked up from Book Outlet, and you can also shop for them. Also, something I got from Book Outlet like probably a year ago now is one of the ones I'm also adding to my TBR, On the Road by Jack Kerouac. I love this collection of these. I always get asked where I find my collections of things, and they're always on Book Outlet. You just have to like regularly check back because they restock stuff all the time as they get it. So this is another orange book that I will be reading this week. And then right before everything shut down, I was doing one last browse through Value Village, and you won't believe that I found the power just sitting at Value Village. This was like $3, and I'm just getting very jazzed about my reading plans. Oh, one other thing I noticed when reviewing this footage was that the books that I was most excited about outside of my own sign, when I was looking through all the posts, every like Leo book was really appealing to me. And if you look at my chart, I'm a Leo rising. I don't know what that means. I think it's very interesting that every time a book came up that I was like, oh, I wish I could read that, or that's on my TBR, or I've read and loved that, it was a Leo book. Okay, we're ready to begin. I don't have any lipstick on because what I decided to do in addition to reading is every day this week find something on the internet that tells me what to eat, wear, do so I can become my true Aries self. As we read self-care for Aries, I actually wasn't going to start with this, but I figured this is kind of the perfect time for self-care because then I can implement these things throughout the week. I think we all need some self-care right now. So I'm looking up what the perfect lipstick is for each sign. And I grabbed all my red lipsticks because I assume that's what's gonna show up. So I have some things to choose from. Hopefully my self-care book will tell me to declutter because I can get rid of a bunch of makeup from like 10 years ago that's expired from when I thought I was gonna be a beauty guru. Okay, here we go. There I am. Just a regular old red. And this one, red. Oh, this one, there's, oh wow. I own that pink 100%. I definitely used to think this was the vibe. The general consensus is that I'm supposed to love red. There we go. How did I do? What do you think? This is actually kind of a perfect book. Like, it explains to you about your sign to begin with, what self-care means, all the different types of self-care, how it connects directly to astrology, and then like the fire sign, the qualities that I have, my ruling planets. It gives you like a good background on astrology to begin with. And then it starts in on specifically self-care. So each page, I haven't read any of these yet, but each page seems to have something you can do and then an explanation. First of all, it says create a good sleep routine, which I feel like some of these are going to be appropriate for every sign. I'm glad that I have more than one of these because I think I'll read 2 of them and then compare them side by side to see how many like overlapped. So I guess for me as a fire sign, the whole purpose is that I'm always go, 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 go and can't like take time to like shut down. So the book isn't necessarily giving ways to like only shut down and relax. It's about like, because you like enthusiasm and games and socializing, like here are some ways that you can practice self-care while still appealing to that side of your personality. So like some of mine are have a solo dance party, which I do every day anyway. I've been learning TikToks while sitting in my bed working. Apparently I need to boost my immune system with garlic, which I eat a ridiculous amount of garlic already. I'm already the perfect Aries. I'm so good at this. I like this one. It's create a sanctuary for sleep. If you often have trouble falling asleep or staying asleep, you might want to examine the mirrors in your bedroom. Do not place mirrors that are facing your bed. A lot of these are about sleep. Protect your energy while you sleep. If your feet are pointed at the door, you can lose energy while you sleep, according to the Chinese art of Feng Shui. Doors can pull energy away from a sleeping person. The placement of your bed can impact your health and well-being. Set up your bed so your head faces east. If you have a window in the east, the rays of the rising sun can gently wake you up. Maybe that's my issue because the east side of my house is the side that has no windows. Not a one. I'm doing everything wrong. Get some fresh air. Thank goodness. Here's my opportunity to wipe off my lipstick and go for the hike I've been wanting to do all day. We ended up going on an 8-kilometer hike. So I'm tired. I don't want to read anymore. I'm almost finished self-care for Aries, and that's all I'm gonna get to. We also did some coloring, so there's that. But that's pretty much what my day looked like. With that, we're gonna mark this with my book charm, which we're gonna call aquamarine, even though it's not, which is my birthstone. That one's close enough. If you'd like a book charm, check out the link in my description because they're really fun. So this turned out to be great. I got a lot of things from this that, you know, you could already think of. If you're sitting here and thinking of 50 things to do for self-care, like they're probably in here. Like take a hot bath or listen to music or smile. But I do like how this is written. I like how it's organized. I folded over the corner of a bunch of them that we can do this week. And overall, I highly recommend. And I think this is useful for you to know. All of the signs that are in the same like element, so the fire signs, These are all of the pages that had the same thing from Aries in Leo. It turned out to be about 70% of this overlapped Aries. So they were specifically about self-care for fire signs. And then about 30% was specifically mentioning Leos, like why this is good for Leos. So if your zodiac sign is no longer available and you really want to try this out, you could just pick up something that's in the same family. I don't think that's a negative thing because they're not expecting anybody to pick up more than one. So why not reuse the same really good advice? And then I checked through like a totally different element Libra and none of them overlap. And overall I really liked it and I'm gonna pass those along now. And we're gonna move on to dry. Which is a apocalyptic drought situation, which this video has clearly been months in the making. So if I knew that we would be going through a pandemic right now, I don't know that I would have picked up the same selection. I'm supposed to like this as an Aries because the main character faces serious challenges, yet it doesn't stop them from trying to do what's right. When the tap runs dry, Alyssa becomes determined to save her family no matter what she has to do. She's put in a serious situation and steps up to the challenge. And I have a surprise because my husband, who we all know is not a reader, has been getting really into audiobooks lately, and he said he wants to read The Dry with me. Last year he read most of the Raven Cycle and really enjoyed it, and then I recommended him a couple other things, one of them being Scythe by Neil Shusterman, which I haven't even read, but I've had it recommended to me. I thought maybe he'd like it, and he binged the entire trilogy in like a week and a half. And I just saw that The Dry is on Scribd, so it all is just magically working out, and we're gonna get to read it together, which is so cool. And that will help us decide if this really is a book for Aries, or if Geminis can also appreciate it. So I loved The Dry. Like 5 stars, loved it, perfect book for me. I'm going to jump to a clip of me and Robbie discussing it though, because it's gonna take him like a week probably before he actually finishes this. Okay, let's talk about Dry, which I feel like I've called The Dry a lot this week. It's a book.
It's an adventure slash survival slash like Goonies.
What? I haven't seen the Goonies.
Oh.
Okay, I will say, I love the setting of this, the atmosphere. I didn't love the characters. Like they're all really dumb, right? Like,
I think they added too many characters.
Interesting.
That they didn't like, I felt like from the beginning to the end, there wasn't a whole lot of development. I guess it is only a week's time as the whole book.
So Scythe was a 5-star read for you.
Yes.
What is this?
I'd say 5 as well. Because
I don't believe you.
Because I think I preferred the writing in this book, but I preferred the characters in the other book.
Okay, well that disproves the entire video.
Does it?
Well yeah, this is for Aries. And I gave it 5 stars. And you gave it 5 stars, but you're not an Aries. This isn't a book for Aries, this is just a book for everyone. Damn it. But like when you were reading Scythe, like you were so hyped. Like you were like, oh my god, I have to talk about this. Oh my god. With Dry, you were like, it was good.
Yeah.
But you still give it 5 stars? I'm shocked, but I trust you. You don't rate books. Like it's not a part of your life.
Yeah.
You just enjoy something or you don't.
I guess I you know what, I can't rate it the same because I shed tears for Scythe.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. No, now that I think about it, you're right. It wouldn't be at the same level, but I did prefer the writing though of this book.
Okay. I will say this felt a little too real in today's climate.
It was weird because the store situations is basically what happened here, and then where we live, we have forest fires every year.
The very opening scene where they're like going to the grocery store and they have to like fight people for items. It was just a little too real for me.
Yeah.
Robbie and I also filmed a clip that I'm going to make an extra video. That whole thing we filmed where I show like a bunch of things like 12 different snacks, and then it assigns each one to a zodiac sign. That we filmed something for like 30 minutes that I'm not going to put into this video, but I really enjoyed it, and so I'm going to link it down below as like an unlisted bonus video, because I want you guys to play along and pick your thing, and then it's going to show you the associated signs, and I want to see if it matches.
Yeah. And some of us match a lot.
It was surprising, and it was more interesting than I could just pull a 30-second clip from. Like, I want you to see the whole thing because it's a ride.
Yeah, it was strange.
All right, that's it. There's our book review.
Reviewed.
See you in a second. Me, not you. Okay, let's unpack this book. I'm not going to say it's not for Aries. I am going to say it's not for anyone. I just looked on Goodreads and this has like a 3-star average rating, like flat 3. I only have like 5 books on my entire Goodreads list under a 3. So nobody seems to really like this. All this says for why I'm supposed to like it is because as an Aries, I'm bold and I need a book to match my sense of adventure. This is genre bending, dystopian fiction, science fiction, space station stuff. I do agree that it's a notable book, okay? This did and said interesting things. Things that you might want to think about, okay? But the story itself, not a good one. So this isn't just near future, it's like full-on speculative, like fantastical things are going on. I'm not, you know, your resident history buff here, so the stories of historical figures like Joan of Arc and Christine, what is it? Christine de Pizan. I'm not here to talk about the retelling aspects of this, because apparently that's what's happening, but I don't know. We're following a character who is writing like the story of Joan of Dirt onto her body. Joan of Dirt is like this rebellion icon for biofeminism, let's say. So we're hearing her story and we're hearing Christine's story. And I hate when people like say what books are trying to do, because maybe sometimes books aren't trying to do anything and you're thinking too deeply. Maybe it's just a story, it's not trying to say anything. But if this book were saying something, I think maybe it's trying to talk about how humans are impacting the planet. I think maybe it's trying to talk about feminism. I think maybe it's trying to talk about gender. But I don't know if this is progressive feminism or regressive, because I don't know that anything that it talked about is actually useful. Editing Kayla here. I'm not explaining myself well because in general I am struggling in this world time with like having good discussions of books, which is why you'll see a lot more fun videos from me instead of like trying to have important discussions. My issues with this book are many. I don't like how it discussed gender and then contradicted itself. I don't like how it discussed gender and then used a trans character as a plot twist. I don't like how it discussed race and then contradicted itself. I didn't like the ideas it put forward in regards to race and religion and culture, and how this future world is better or worse off based on like how society lives now. I don't always have to agree with what a book is saying in order to enjoy it. So like I just didn't enjoy it either. Like the actual storytelling, the character development, the relationships, like nothing worked for me in this book. I would think that this is something I would have liked. just based on the setting. Are we following an Aries main character? Perhaps we are. I definitely didn't expect to come out of this video with a 1-star read, but here we are. We need to move on to something else. I would like to mention quickly that I did look at a couple different other places for recommendations. I just wanted to mention, just in case you thought of it too, because I ended up watching like 10 YouTube videos giving astrological recommendations, and I didn't include any of that footage because it was all books that I've read, or books or genres that I completely wasn't interested in trying at all.
Jonathan Tropper's This Is Where I Leave You.
The Wrath and the Dawn by Renee Ahdieh.
So for Aries, I have decided to recommend The Hunger Games by Suzanne Collins.
I went with The Hunger Games by Suzanne Collins.
The Six of Crows duology.
Everyone I asked for suggestions for a book recommendation for an Aries said The Hunger Games by Suzanne Collins.
So I just wanted to mention those because I am going to put even more links down below for places that you might be able to get recommendations. Good morning. Today we are lounging in bed and I'm gonna start Roll of Thunder, Hear My Cry, because I feel like I can read this in a day, and I'm participating in a live read-in. I've been enjoying reading with people, just seeing other people reading this month, so I'm gonna go into like a Zoom call and it's gonna be fun. Okay, I'm done reading for the day and my self-care is a big glass of wine. Nothing in my self-care book, I don't think, said anything about drinking, which is interesting because I'm not a big drinker and I wonder if that's an Aries thing. Fellow Aries, let me know. Traditionally, like, I drink to get drunk. I'm not someone who has like a glass of wine with a meal or at the end of the night, but I'm trying it. I wonder if it'll let me let loose a little more. I'm really high strung. I'm a control freak. I don't like feeling out of control, which is why I don't do drugs. I don't drink a lot, but the world's going to shit, so we might as well try. I checked out some articles about what wine to drink based on your zodiac sign, and none of them listed Moscato at all, let alone for an Aries, because nobody respects sugar alcohol. I live in like the wine capital of Canada, and I still don't appreciate wine the way I should. Anyway, Roll of Thunder, Hear My Cry was such a good book, and I'm sad that afterwards I thought to go and read some reviews on Goodreads because now I'm tainted. So many people hate this book, and for reasons I genuinely like don't understand. So I've discovered this is a pretty common required reading book in the States, which totally makes sense to me. This is a girl in the 30s. She's black and she's experiencing racism, not for the first time necessarily, but for the first time that she's aware of. It's really sad to read, obviously. She's just discovering like why she's been treated a certain way her entire life, like why segregation has been placed upon her, but also finding the good in life and her family, and why land that her family owns is so important, and how she can find some power in her situation. Overall, I would give this a 4-star just because there are some strange writing things that I didn't enjoy. I don't think added anything to the book or the reading experience. Like, there were certain times where the narration style would change but didn't make a lot of sense. Also, there were some weird like scene things halfway through a scene. We'd kind of be thrown into another time, but the story was great. Like, the overarching themes and the purpose behind this book, the intent, I think, was all super good. The complaints that I saw, maybe it's just because people generally don't enjoy books that they like had to read in school, but it was just like a bunch of really young looking white girls on Goodreads saying that they hated the main character, how she was like naive, and how it didn't make sense that if she was black in America that this is the first time she would be experiencing racism. I saw a bunch of reviews claiming that this book was racist, and I was scrolling past them all, the reviews, and just like skim reading reviews, and I kept seeing like, this is racist, this is racist, and I was like, oh, you just don't understand. Like, it's not, it's one of those like, you think the book is racist, but it's actually like the characters are racist, like the book isn't racist. I thought that's what was happening. And then I continued reading a little more in depth, and everyone was saying that this book is racist because the white characters are all villains and bad people and are the ones doing the bad things in the book. And they thought that that meant the author and the book was racist against white people. So I now understand why some people don't like it. I disagree. As this book was recommended by Sanctuary World, I don't have a reason behind this. I can't really discuss like why it was recommended or how accurate, you know, that blurb that the other sites gave of why I would like this. I don't think we could say that this character is an Aries, but you might recommend it because it has qualities of power, leadership, taking charge, and maybe that's why I did like it. So, perfect recommendation. Let's go with that. To go back, this one was recommended to me because this is my year, 2020, to meet my goals and quote-unquote conquer the world. I actually thought it would be fun to look up some celebrities who are Aries and maybe try to find their favorite books, if not to read, just to discuss. And something interesting that I found out is 2 of the most popular celebrity-run book clubs are by Emma Watson and Reese Witherspoon, or Emma Watson's I don't think is running anymore. I don't really know. I never participated in either. Both of those women are Aries. So there's actually tons of books that I could have pulled like from their book clubs as recommendations. And interestingly, The Power was one of Emma Watson's picks. And another famous Aries is Kristen Stewart, and one of her favorite books of all time is On the Road. So I'm already reading some other Aries favorite things. Some other famous Aries are Elton John, Lady Gaga, Paul Rudd, Zach Braff, Saoirse Ronan, Kourtney Kardashian, Mariah Carey, and Seth Rogen. And I feel like I actually have a really similar personality traits to some of these people, but it was difficult to find out their favorite books. A lot of them have written books, but I don't know if reading their books would do anything for me. So I'm glad I ended up reading The Power, which was 3 stars for me. Conceptually, 5 stars. The follow-through, 3 stars. You can't deny that a book like this, where it discusses gendered power dynamics, isn't relevant or interesting. The idea that women have potentially evolved in a way that gives them this electricity. The interesting thing about this book is that I don't actually think that it would be better if done differently, because I don't think this would have been the worldwide success that it is if it had gone the opposite way. So basically the overarching theme here is that absolute power corrupts absolutely. So regardless of if men are in charge or women are in charge, someone is going to take advantage of their power position, period. If it had gone the direction of saying that if women were in charge of the world, everything would be more peaceful, I just don't think it would have had the same reach. There are 4 main perspectives in here. 2 of them were really strong for me and I kept wanting to go back to, and 2 of them just clearly didn't have the same attention given to them. So just like half the book essentially is weaker. Interestingly, the best perspective for me was the one that was heavily religiously influenced. It's so fascinating that these books were most recommended to the Zodiac sign that is historically the least religiously affiliated. But maybe that actually makes sense, because since we're the least passionate naturally, we're more accepting of like new, strange religions being introduced in a fictional story. It's basically just some different timelines of women discovering this skein, I think it's called, and their electric power and what they do with it and how it affects society. It was super interesting, all of the different like mixed media kind of formats in here, because this is told as like a history book, a novelization, and I actually really love the concept of this. I think we could have gone further with the conversation of gender in general. I think we were missing a lot of discussions that we could have had. I am definitely going to need to read some reviews specifically from Muslim women, because I don't know that the portrayal of them just waiting for an opportunity to reject their religion was something that would be appreciated by people. So I'm gonna go look up some reviews. The only reviews that are popping up on Goodreads are 1 stars from men just so angry about this book, which I think is hilarious. Yeah, it was average, good. It could have been better. And I see how it was recommended to an Aries. Definitely like fast-paced, high action, strong, dynamic leadership qualities were abundant with all the characters. So I totally get this one. Good morning. I'm back. I tried to do that robe hair thing, but my hair is still very wet under here, but it's been like 16 hours. And I started the Disasters, which is going okay. I'm only like 50 pages in. The Disasters was chosen for Aries because it's fast-paced and has characters who are brave but can be huge dumbasses going into danger head first. If you don't know, you don't know I love space training stuff. So this book is set up for me to enjoy. But right now it's giving me more Nixia vibes than Dare Mighty Things or the Final Six vibes, which are 2 that I liked significantly more. And I need to pick some self-care for the day. Oh, this one's perfect. Find the perfect winter hat. I mean, we need to cover this up. Because Aries rules the head, it's very important for you to take good care of yours. That's why hats are a great idea for Aries. Preferably red ones, since it's Aries' signature color and reminiscent of your fiery personality. It's another day. You probably can't even tell because I look the same every single day. So today, we're gonna switch it up a little. I'm gonna try like eyeshadow for Aries and nail polish for Aries because I finally tore off my nails. I don't know when the next time I'll be able to get them done is, so I just took them all off and now I need to take care of them. I don't have like a file, I don't have any nail polish, and I thought red would show up, but actually this pretty like nude, it's called Creme de la Creme by Sally Hansen. I'm gonna try to find that at the drugstore. And then this eyeshadow we're gonna recreate, because my self-care book doesn't say anything about like makeup or hair or physical things, but well, obviously it doesn't know we're going through a pandemic. And for me, in this time, something that I find helpful is still like putting myself together and feeling a sense of normalcy. I have to go to the drugstore for a couple other things anyway, and we have to stop by Liam's school today to pick up his stuff from his desk and his locker. This is the first time I'm leaving my neighborhood in like 2 weeks. I'm still reading The Disasters. I'm struggling through it. Of all the books that I picked, this is the one I least expected to like take a while to get into. We're basically following this like group who's gonna become friends. I love a friend group and I love space. And they just had this like big disaster happen as they were fleeing their ship, and now they can't return to Earth, so they have to like go somewhere else. I'm still in the first like 100 pages, but it's funny because I've been posting pictures of what I'm reading all week. I decided to give you some clues and have you guess what my secret TBR theme is. Today, my hint is gonna be this shirt that I found in edition L. It says Aries on it. I took a picture of myself reading the power in this. I also took a picture of the dry. I originally had an Aries like tattoo drawn on me, but then I took it out of the photo because I thought it would give away the theme too quickly. And then I got this really cute Aries mug, so I took a picture with that, and that's gonna be my very last picture that I post. And I wore my like Zodiac sweet legs with Aries real big on it, so that's fun. But it's funny because I didn't realize how all these books seem connected until you are all guessing. There's literally hundreds of guesses for what the theme is. People started guessing that I'm reading like post-apocalyptic or dystopian or pandemic type reads, which makes sense. And then a lot of guesses were for that I'm reading books about natural disasters, which I never really connected, but I definitely see now how the covers look that way. And then also people are guessing that I'm reading orange books, which again makes sense, but I'm gonna post this one, which I think maybe will throw you off. Or the fact that it has disaster in the title will further encourage the fact that you think it's gonna be about disasters. Somebody guessed that I'm reading books about road trips. Somebody guessed that they all feature strong female protagonists, which is a great guess because they kind of do. Because we're reading about a lot of Aries, I feel like. I recognize this isn't an easy theme to guess, which is kind of the point. I don't really want you to guess that I'm doing an Aries thing. However, Chloe Mars, the first comment that guessed it right, says, I've got it. Are they based on your zodiac sign? I know Aries is a fire type. So it's so interesting that the books do look like they have this fire theme to them. So I am doing Aries books, but not specifically because like they're fire related books, but maybe it is because they were recommended because they're fire books. I don't know. Okay, I found the creme de la creme and I got creative and did this eyeshadow. Liam's behind me in this video practicing his fractions. Did I accomplish it? No. Did I throw glitter all over it because I got annoyed and realized I'm not talented? Yeah. But did I get creative? Also, yes. What did you say the second you saw my face?
He's scary.
You just turned around, he's like, you're scary. All right, we are giving up on this makeup look and this book. I know I am as shocked as you are, but I really don't like it and I cannot spend any more time reading this book. We already have so many tropes, love triangles, they're constantly like running from the enemy and hiding out. It's super over the top dramatic writing that just does not sound realistic at all. The dialogue, it's killing me. I'm like, I want to care about these characters. I want this to be like an amazing found family thing, but their relationships are just like so ridiculous. I want to talk about like the representation and the things you might get out of it, but it's really hard to read. So I'm stopping at about the 50% mark. I think this is a debut novel, so like I'll keep an eye out in the future and see what else they do, but this is just really not for me. Oh, and I just remembered who recommended this one and now I feel bad, Fatwa. Darn it. I really appreciate the recommendation. I don't think the main character is an Aries. But maybe he is because Aries are supposed to not get along and I hate him. Today I'm reading On the Road and I wish I wasn't. I'm just over halfway, 2/3 the way through, and I'm not enjoying it, but I will not DNF a second book in this challenge. So I'm actually going to pick up the audiobook to get through the rest of this. I should have known, like a lot of you are probably screaming at me right now, Kayla, this is a road trip book. You don't like books about road trips. You're right. My excitement for having a book show up that I already owned took over my mind. But I did like Dry, which also is kind of road trippy. Somebody commented on a video this morning and was like, that's it, I'll never understand your reading tastes. And I was like, me neither. I want to tell you what On the Road is about, but I don't even know. It's about this guy, and he's obsessed with this other guy who is apparently the Aries in the book. And he's just traveling around talking about wanting to sleep with every woman he sees and how he's going to take advantage of every woman and how he's going to become a pimp and whore out this woman and have sex with this woman. And obviously lots of like outdated terms, derogatory terms to do with race and gay people, and there's a lot. It's from 1957 and it's just kind of exhausting to read. I think sometimes when I say I don't read classics and I don't pick up classics, it's because I feel like I'm not going to get the point of them. And that's kind of how I feel about this one. I don't understand why it's such like a well-loved or classic story. I just have to like accept that in its time, it obviously was an interesting story. I don't think it's trying to do anything or say anything, you know, that has a profound impact on 70 years of history. But yeah, I'm gonna wrap this up on audio. And one thing I haven't done is dressed like an Aries. Maybe I have, but I need to look up how I'm supposed to look as an Aries. Is probably red clothing, which I already wore in the opening clip, so like I've probably got nothing left. Okay, so if I go on Pinterest and I search outfits for zodiac signs, all these outfits look the same. The signs as summer outfits, they all look the same. This one has me in black and plaid, so this one would have me in black too, and stripes. This one's got a graphic tee that says "Killing It." Oh my god, why does this one look like me? Like, of all the options here, like, why is that me? Oh hey, hairstyles for Aries. Oh, I can't. Should we try it? I look like this. This is the best that I could do. I didn't do the braids in the back, but I think the whole point is that it's like a ram. So I think the essence of it is here. And I was just reading an article about what movies you should read based on your zodiac sign. And since I got Hunger Games so many times just to read in the book recommendations, it's not really shocking that that got recommended also in the movie list. And weirdly, I got an email yesterday saying that there's this live stream of the Hunger Games going on YouTube today. Apparently Lionsgate is doing these weekly movie screenings, and today it's at 6 p.m. So I'm gonna hang out and watch that. So On the Road. The audiobook is narrated by Will Patton, who's an audiobook narrator I just don't enjoy listening to. So it definitely didn't improve the reading experience for me, but I finished it. So I could sit here and I could look up, you know, the purpose of On the Road and all the reasons why it's so important and why we should still be reading this classic piece of literature. But to be honest, I just don't care enough. I understand if people like it. I didn't. I'm giving it 2 stars. I'm respecting it this much. I think it's probably in its time a way for people to live vicariously through a character who is seeing a lot of different faces in a lot of the country and having a good time with their friend, doing a lot of drugs, having a lot of sex. But as far as like a good road trip story, I think you could find ones written current day where you wouldn't have to read like derogatory language constantly referring to like colored women and people who drive like an Indian and that drunk Indian and this queer and this F word and everyone's a whore and everyone's an N word. I don't think that enough of this book like sets a scene of the time period that like you nowadays would want to read it for that. So if you want to read it for like the fun road trip stuff, like why not read a modern day one? I'm not saying anyone shouldn't be reading on the road at all. It is Sal's story, but it's more about his friend Dean and his slow descent into madness, his pedophile-like behavior. I would rather him not be associated with an Aries, but I get it. The high energy, the go, 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 the can't stop, the easy distractions, just like wanting to have a good time. But one could argue he could be any sign, just on a lot of drugs. I think a lot of his behavior that you may associate with an Aries is just because he's on a lot of drugs. I don't want to associate him with any specific sign, but technically the person he is based on in real life that Jack Kerouac was friends with is actually an Aquarius. Enough about that. Let's wrap this up, shall we? I like that I ended up with something in every single star rating category. We ended up with a 1 star. We ended up with a 2 star. We had a 3 star, a 4 star, and a 5 star. It's sad that I started with this because I really thought at the beginning of this week that like everything was going to be 5 stars. I was like, oh my god, I can't believe this is happening. Everything's going so well. And then it just slowly declined. And then of course I had a DNF, and I had a book that I can't rate. Like, I don't know how you rate something like this. In general, I find it difficult to rate nonfiction. So while I was hoping for a different outcome, and based on how the week started, I expected a different outcome, I still had a lot of fun, and I think it was still a really fun experiment. I am kicking off I just started a website. So if you want to click down below, I'm going to make a post linking all of the quizzes that I took so you can also do them, and any other information you need. And then I think I'm going to gather all of the recommendations from all of the posts and make a little image for each of the signs in case you would like to do this challenge for yourself. Essentially what I've learned is that any book on a surface level could be recommended to a specific zodiac sign. I think that's kind of easy to see that, like, this is high energy and post-apocalyptic, and maybe this sign would like that thing. But I think it's harder when you take the actual book, like how the book did certain things, how the book is written, and designate it to a certain sign. More than anything though, I think it just goes to show that zodiac signs don't really mean anything. Doing this based on opinion is definitely fun and was interesting, and I love seeing all of the recommendations, but doing it based on actual thorough analysis would be a different thing. I hope you don't take any of my feelings too seriously. I had a lot of fun doing this video. I know it was probably way too long, but I enjoy having a good portion of it, like finding out my TBR. But you can let me know if these reading like blank for a week you would like done differently in any way, because I love your feedback. I will see you later. Bye.